Welcome back to my Arttober/Inktober project for 2020. I'm using these dry erase dice to come up with my subject each day, and I am painting onto a different storage bin for my craft supplies every weekday this month. Today's dice roll came up fantasy, and I chose to paint a dragon. I haven't really drawn a lot of dragons recently, but in high school and college, I did a lot of drawings and paintings of dragons. I always loved how the big wings and the long tails and the long necks were so adaptable, and you could do so much within a composition with them. And of course, as a fantasy creature, you can do whatever you want. If you want to have a ton of spikes or horns or whatever, you can do whatever you need to fill in your composition nicely and just make it look cool. Today's dice roll came up Star Wars, and then I rolled the secondary dice and it came up Artist Choice. Since my last Star Wars piece for this project was Kylo, it just made sense to do Rey. The latest trilogy might not be my favorite, but I am a big fan of it, and I definitely love both of these characters. I did keep this a little bit vague so you can decide for yourself if they're fighting each other, or they're sparring, or they're fighting on each other's side. Today's dice rolled out Disney, followed by Alice. And I decided that it just made sense to me to put her with Mary Poppins from the first painting of this month. I don't know, I guess because they're both British and one's a little girl, one's a nanny. I don't know, it kind of made sense. Maybe at some point Mary Poppins was Alice's nanny. I don't know. But Alice was a very simple one, and this one was over very quickly. Today's dice came up Princess, followed by Mulan. I did do a Mulan piece for last year's Inktober though, and I also painted Mulan on my Disney princess jacket, and for both of those I put her in her dress sort of at the end of the movie, even though for last year's Inktober she was definitely in more of a warrior pose. It was still in the fancy dress. So I decided this year to put her in her Ping armor. Also a fairly simple one. The hardest part was just coming up with enough greens that were different from each other, but also tied in nicely to each other. Today's dice came up the Fab 5, and I was talking to my husband about how I wanted to do a little different twist on them. I didn't want to just put a regular Mickey and Minnie on a bin. I wanted it to be a little bit fun, and of course, his first thought was Star Wars, because it always is. And you often will see Mickey and Minnie in like Luke and Leia costumes from the original Star Wars movies, and I do always like that, but I also always feel like that's a little bit weird because Luke and Leia are siblings. So I decided instead to go with the most recent trilogy, and why stop with just Mickey and Minnie? So even though I keep telling myself not to do big mass group shots and just stick to one or two characters, like an idiot, of course, I decided to do all of them. So I've got Mickey as Kylo, Minnie as Rey, Donald is Finn, and Daisy is Rose. And then I decided to do Goofy as Poe, and I had a little bit of space and I felt like Pluto was going to feel left out, so I decided to put him in there, and I made him Chewbacca. It's fairly subtle, he's just got Chewbacca's bandolier, but why not? It was kind of fun. It's a different twist. I don't really think I've seen them done up in these new characters like this, so I thought it was kind of interesting. There were some design challenges, and sort of as a spectrum of their original costume designs to the Star Wars costumes, I had to slide that around and go back and forth a little bit. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely the most complicated piece this year, but it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I did it. So that finishes up this week of my Arttober challenge with Mickey and crew as various Star Wars characters, a dragon for a fantasy art piece, Ray to accompany Kylo from a previous piece from this month, as well as Alice to go with Mary Poppins from the very first day of this challenge, and of course Mulan in her ping armor. I'm definitely getting a variety of characters, and I'm really enjoying combining different ones onto different bins together. It's adding a lot of variety to my storage area and making it a little more visually appealing. If you found this inspiring or entertaining, I hope you will give the video a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I will have another video just like this, but with different characters next week, and then we'll be continuing various other nerdy DIY, travel, etc. vlogs and videos. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.